going on, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of a review of a video where I think expresses exactly how I feel about the game right now. A lot of things have changed since Verdansk as far as TTK, new HDR sniping. Everything is a lot different and a lot more BR than it used to be before, where it was basically a glorified battle royale. Now, I am super happy with the state of game. I've been enjoying the game a lot. It really brings me back to what are the core roots of Warzone. I think they did a very good job with this update, and a lot of people do not feel the same. Unfortunately, they're asking for a lot of changes, TTK changes, taking away certain aspects that make the game it is right now. They wanted to make it more competitive, in my opinion. And yes, there is a spot for competitive play, and I think that they should be down the line and ranked, and we'll talk about that more in the video. Before we get into all of that, guys, I know I've done videos like this before, but if you guys could please leave me a like, subscribe, put those post notifications on so you don't miss any more videos like this one, I'd appreciate it so much. And without further ado, I mean, let's just get right into it. Okay, so first and foremost, I just want to give a big shout out to Ketchup Runner. We're gonna go ahead and give him a subscribe, give him a like. This video was really good, and it really portrays exactly how I'm feeling. And let's just kind of see what's going on. We got Joe Will right here for, of course, one of the bigger streamers out there right now in the space. And we're gonna kind of see exactly what they got to say about everything. And we'll go from there.
Now, first, I do want to apologize for a lot of my content creator friends. A lot of content creators are just idiots, and they'll just complain to complain for clicks.
Honestly, this is going to be a hot take. They need to not listen to streamers.
The worst thing that the developers could do right now is listen.
Yeah, I mean, just right off the bat, guys, let me move my camera a little bit so that way it could kind of see talking and whatnot. Here, we'll move it a little bit more up in this. Okay, that's fine. Right off the bat, I mean, a lot of people are asking for changes. A lot of people are asking the developers to do stuff. And it's a very big gray area, in my opinion. Whether what should be changed, what shouldn't be changed. I don't think a whole lot needs to be changed at this point. I think that they need to really just let this game kind of live a little bit. They need to let it breathe, because right now it's in a really good state. And yes, I'm mad at sometimes I die too quick. And yes, I'm mad that there's no plates in Gulag. And yes, I'm not accustomed to how this game is being played right now, because for a long time, for about a year and maybe two, I mean, you can kind of count Warzone 2 in that a little bit. It hasn't felt too BR-y, whether there was flares, portable buys, a lot of different ways to get back, Gulag tokens, things of that nature have made it to where my play style has just been so turned up. I play at such a fast pace, and now that I need to dial it back a little bit and I need to think about my decisions a little bit more because they are a heavier risk, there are a couple things that that I just have to adjust to. And so to ask for a call to action really soon, as far as like people who have such a big platform are saying that things need to be changed, I just don't agree with just yet. Like, let it breathe. It hasn't even been a month yet. We need to figure out exactly what is it really broken before we can really determine what needs to be done.
And make snap judgments, because there are some loud voices saying it needs to be quicker again.
I think they admitted to fucking up, and I think they're just going to do like live events like Verdansk kid. I think they're going to remove half the weapons. Honestly, this is going to be a hot take. They need to not listen to streamers. I think yeah. Some streamers literally think that they know what the game needs, and it's completely wrong. It'd be a hot take, and I already got a lot of shit for it, but I think them listening to streamers and taking feedback from streamers push the game in a bad direction.
Yeah.
Trying to make it a competitive game ruined it. I think the game is always competitive, but them trying to make an esport ruined it. One of the major issues that the game went down a wrong path was this game already has a super successful esport scene, right? Like,
when it comes to video creation.
Okay, so right off the bat, like, we'll just talk about this while we got this ad. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that Warzone with Sal is different, and Warzone should be treated different. To say that Call of Duty doesn't have a successful esports scene, I think Warzone needs a little bit more backing on their esports. I've been a competitive player, so to say that, oh, if you want to watch competitive Call of Duty, go watch CDL. I love CDL. I've been to multiple events. I've been to Asau. I've been to 2 champs. And the energy is definitely different. Don't get me wrong. And CDL is by by and large a better competitive esport than Warzone, but I still think that there is a spot for Warzone players. I think there is a spot for Warzone esports. So I don't really agree with that. Another thing is that nobody asked for Warzone 2, in my opinion. I don't think streamers asked for Warzone 2. I think that that's where it deviated so far. I think that that's where it went wrong. Because I liked the end of Caldera, and I know that Caldera like changed, and a lot of it was due to visual. People are on console didn't work. So I think that for the most part, I don't think streamers really asked to. I don't think streamers ruined this game initially. I think that it was really more of Infinity Ward's fault, in my opinion. But that's just me. And that's just my opinion, obviously. I don't think that streamers I think streamers have really good input, but I think that sometimes they tend to want things a little bit more fast-paced than it really kind of needs to be. I think that was probably maybe one of the things, but Warzone 2 got like pulled back so fast that I don't think anybody asked for that, and that's where I think they went wrong, is right at Warzone 2. So we'll see what he has to say.
Make Warzone an esport is just like a meme, you know?
Indicating L.
Example, they wanted in Warzone their a skill gap to be movement, right? Just like it is in Apex, but this is not Apex.
Now, I have seen some conversation about people thinking that,
You know, I can't agree with that. I think that they did really want the skill gap to be movement, and we were just talking about right before we started playing that again. I don't think that needs to be so fast paced. I really don't. I think that mentally, the game could be more of like a decision based of like, if I make this play, I could mess up. I think that it could be more of like a positioning thing. And maybe the health could be fixed a little bit, but we'll get into that.
the game is too slow now, and they want the redeploy balloons back. They want the movement to be sped up. They want to be able to carry 12 players again. They want more chances to respawn. They think the game has got too slow. I think the worst thing that Call of Duty, the developers, could do right now is listen and make snap judgments, because there are some loud voices saying it needs to be quicker again. Put all these things back in the game again. That's the worst thing they could do. What they've done right now, in my opinion, if they stick with this and they build on it, they don't do anything crazy. If they stick with the foundation they've got now and establish that this is the core of Warzone, this is how Warzone feels, this is how it plays, make that baseline again so people have got an understanding of things, and don't do anything wacky and wild, the road ahead for the game is promising. But if they suddenly start making snap judgments and introduce swinging gameplay changes again, I don't think it's going to go down well. A lot of the good faith that they have restored is quickly going to go out the window. So I'm hoping that they stick to their guns and they carry this design philosophy going forward. Don't do anything crazy, Call of Duty. You've done good here. It's nice to see some positive sentiment for COD 2. That's not been around for a while. For me, if they stick like this, then Warzone is going to be a game that I play regularly again. I'm not going to play it as much as I used to in 2020, 2021, but it's a game that I can dip in and out of now. I'm quite enjoying trios. I'm enjoying solos. It's another option for me again, whereas last week, I wouldn't have even looked at it.
Now, first, I do want to apologize for a lot of my content
Okay,
creators.
so there was a lot of things there, and I just want to kind of go over it. I don't think that balloons are such a bad idea. I don't think PDRs, or maybe even like a, how do you say it? Just certain different verticalities in the game, right? Whether it's like a grappling hook like they had in BO4 Blackout, I think there needs to be some kind of other verticality. This map design, it just can't be done to not do that, in my opinion. Otherwise, I mean, and this is just my opinion, and I'm a competitive player. I do like to play fast, don't get me wrong. I just think that there has to be other options for me, right? Like if there's somebody camping on a roof, my only option cannot be one ladder. There has to be at least multiple ways, whether it's a back ladder, a side ladder, or like it could be ladders, it could be zips, right? A couple different ways, but right now, obviously, as the game stands, they haven't added zips, so I'm feeling that and how it might change a little bit, might change my tune. But as of right now, there's got to be more than one way. And yeah, I know that the people are going to say, like, well, if you make a bad decision and you choose to push this person who's playing like more defensively, that's on you. And yeah, I do agree that. I do agree. But if you give me another option to play that, I don't have to travel another 300 miles to fight somebody. That's just egregious, in my opinion. I don't think that just because somebody is sitting on a roof, that my only option is to either go up that ladder or leave. I don't think that that's really fair. I don't think that's in an ideal situation. I think that there's a middle ground, and I think that grappling hooks might be a way to kind of combat that. And that's my only thing of why I say maybe balloons would be nice, because you could throw a balloon and then you could land on somebody's roof. But if you want to do a PRD or a grappling hook, I'm totally fine with that too. That's kind of just my tangent. I kind of went off on that. I just think that a lot of people try to protect that whole defensive gameplay is like, well, you made a bad decision. Yeah, I made a bad decision, but because I didn't want to have to go 300, 400, 500 meters away by running, because there's barely any ways to go around, just to find the next person who's camping in another building. You kind of understand. It just kind of creates this weird dynamic that I'm not the biggest fan of. But with all that being said, let's just kind of keep going.
Friends, YouTubers, streamers, etc., that don't understand, I guess, the Warzone landscape. A lot of content creators are just respectfully idiots, and they'll just complain for clicks, or they'll ask about stuff coming back into the game that nobody asked for except them, who is a 0.0001% player of the game. I miss when your life and how you played the game actually mattered. It shouldn't have been that you could just play the game brainless. Now you actually have to think about how you want to approach the game. You as a solo or as a team, rotate early, use vehicles, and I love that. I love that actually you have to value your life as a player, and I feel like there's kind of an open meta. Snipers, especially the HDR, is obviously insane because it can one-shot from anywhere. I think it's a good thing because more people that are playing the game again have a chance to kill anybody. I can't just turn my brain off and fly around now, and that's definitely thrown a lot of people off because they are not used to that if they've played Warzone in the last 2 years. I think it'd be better to have Warzone as its own separate game and its own separate updates and stuff compared to multiplayer. Will COD do that? I doubt it, but I think long term that's the play.
Streamers and top 1% players.
Okay, couple things there, and I totally agree with basically everything Joel says right there. Beautifully said. We're valuing our life. You gotta play different. You know, you can't just play brainless, right? Like, and I'm okay. Like I know, like in that last bit, it kind of sounded like I did want changes. My new changes are meant to happen. Like some of the best games, like are good still to this day because they make quality of life updates. But this good base right here of where we die fast is fine. Is whether or not the decisions we make really matter. I can't just push a 4-stack anymore brainless because I'm like, oh, well, I'll just go buy a gulag token. Or, oh, my friend's got a flare. Or they'll just loot me back in 2 minutes. No, you can't really loot people back. There are no flares. There are no portable buys. It's a lot harder to get people back, and I totally respect that. It makes winning way, way more difficult, and it makes it way more rewarding. I think that, I mean, I've gotten quite a few dubs since this game has launched, but I used to just fly through wins like it was nobody's business. And now I actually have to kind of slow it down in these late game situations. I can't just start bulldozing people over. And so I think that it's a lot more rewarding in that sense. So I do agree with everything that Joe said.
Have already started talking about things like redeploy balloons not being in the game. Have already started complaining about the HDR being a one-shot, and are clearly struggling to adapt to the pacing that is a very, very realistic capture of what Warzone used to be. The early days of Verdansk weren't about flying around the map dropping 30, 40, 50 kills. It was about a tense sandbox-based experience that allowed you to do wacky, funny, and crazy things, and maybe you strung together a win, but it wasn't a given. A game that fundamentally let the bottom 1% of player challenge the top 1% of player if they did intelligent things like position themselves early. So seeing these complaints about the game feeling too slow, about there not being enough cash, not being enough plates, about Verdansk as a map feeling quiet or having too much downtime, the things that made the original Verdansk special and made it a sandbox first and a BR second is really, really key. We don't want to lose that essence, and we don't want to lose that feeling. The time to kill and one-shot snipers mean that everybody has a fair and reasonable chance to take on anybody so long as they've taken up good positions. Taking away these drones mean that people can't just randomly leave the map and land somewhere else and drop on an entire squad, and you actually have to make methodical decisions around your rotations and use vehicles around you which are much easier to see and attract more attention. This means that teams have to be a bit more intelligent and move a little bit more quickly, and you can be punished for your mistakes in terms of positioning. And if you do decide to use a vehicle, it makes it painstakingly obvious to the entire lobby that you are roaming around the place. And I think that's a huge bonus. And I've seen some people complain about there not being an indicator, and I will be perfectly honest with you, I thought this was a terrible change when they announced it. But you know what? I was damn well wrong. Not having an airstrike indicator and positional indicator means that the fear factor is back for airstrikes, and they actually make teams move and make squads get mobile again compared to what they have done before. And it honestly just feels fairly bad.
I do agree with that as well. And I was initially on the side of precision airstrikes being taken away, especially because I knew what they were going for. They were going for that original Verdansk feel, and part of that original Verdansk feel was, where is this airstrike coming from? I just got to run. The fear factor is real with those. You don't know where they're coming from, you just know it's coming, and you have seconds in order to figure out where you want to go. And I think that, but when they took it away, it took the value of a $6,000. It's the same amount as a UAV, a $6,000 kill streak, but you could easily avoid it in the old ones by like, oh, I'll just step 2 feet to the left and lay down. And that's it. But now you have no idea. Like you quite literally have no idea, and you have to kind of make an educated decision. Well, I'm gonna jump off this roof and give up my high ground, or I'm gonna kind of play it over here in this far edge corner and pray that it doesn't hit me at this point. So I think that is a really good thing that they did. I feel like it doesn't even need to be changed at all. I don't think they need to change it back. I was a big either that or they just need to change the amount it is. It could be 3,000, and then they bring the indicator back, and I'd be totally fine. Because I don't want to waste 6,000 just for somebody to move 2 feet to the left and it be for no reason, you know. But yeah.
Balanced. It feels like people actually have an opportunity to get kills in places that they previously couldn't have, and it puts more emphasis on positioning. By reducing the skill gap in the current environment that they have right now, it feels as though casual players have more of a chance, and it brings so much more of them back to the game. Now, yes, I do think there could be a handful more plates, but actually having to think about what you're looting and what you're bringing into endgame and how you could buy a plate box or pick up some useful resources to benefit yourself in these final circles feels like a huge positive, and again is a complaint that I think we're seeing online from the top 1% of players that should just be completely ignored. The reality is that this is the purest version of Warzone that most people enjoyed, the vast majority of people enjoyed. Worst thing I can picture and the worst thing that I can imagine is Call of Duty starts re-catering to these movement sweats, the top 1%, the comp players, and the streaming players who want these more competitive environments, because it takes away the fun of Verdansk and it takes away the fun of Warzone in the process. Warzone right now is the most fun I think it's been since it originally released, and I think it's the most fun for the majority of people. We don't need to force more balanced environments on players and try and give these, huge competitive balancing passes to the game, because there's a space for that now, and it's ranked play. Ranked play is a different one.
Right there, he nailed it right on the head. It is a different space. It is a different space, but I think that they have to really nail it on the head with rank 2. You nailed a pub game mode right on the noggin. Right on it. You didn't miss. But now you cannot miss with ranked either. So if you're going to do this, I think that you should treat the competitive scene fairly and give them what they want as well. So I'm fine with this. Keep this in pubs. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I love one-shot snipers. I love everything. You don't really, add quality of life, of course, but maybe map changes along the way, cool things like that. Don't really change the base of it. And just give competitive players what they want in ranked, and I think we're good. I think that that's all they had to do in the beginning. At the very beginning. That's all they wanted was a ranked mode. They gave us titanium trials. They gave us a couple other game modes with longer health, and we loved it. We loved it. We wanted more of it. We wanted that, but just give it to us in a competitive setting. Give us more speed if they want. It doesn't have to be that way, and I doubt that'll happen, but more health for sure. So there's a couple things that they can do to appease these. Obviously, take out one-shot snipers, and this is coming from a top 250 player with SAL qualifier. I am completely fine with these pub changes. Just make a ranked play where everyone else will be happy. And I think that they can do a really good job with that, and I hope and pray that they do. Because I love ranked. I love competitive Warzone. I do think there's a space for it. But it is in ranked play. It's not in pubs, and we don't need to change the whole damn game because this is good. This is working. I'm happy with it. I can make videos on it. It's good for everybody. It really is.
World, a different environment, a different set of rules, and if we don't want one-shot snipers and we don't want certain XYZ ABC pieces of equipment, and maybe if we want more health, then use the ranked play environment to fuel that. Don't subject the entire player base to what a slither of the player base wants, even though they are core and most engaged.
If they stick with the foundation they've got now and establish that this is the core of Warzone.
That's what I think it is. They need to stick to their guns. They need to stick to exactly where we're at right now. It is perfect. It is good. Let's just get used to it for a bit. Let this game breathe. Maybe give some map changes. Maybe start bringing back a couple things that we liked before, and that might just be as minimal as I liked when the perks were on the ground. There's a couple things that they could add for sure, but right now, I don't think they need to go drastic, and I don't think they need to change a whole lot. But everything seems really good, and I hope you guys enjoy this video as much as I had fun making it, guys. I love videos like this, and if you guys like videos like this, please make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and put those post notifications on, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.